In this session, we'll calculate the values for payment number 2. You remember that at the beginning of payment period 1, we had a remaining principal of $200,000. We had to make a monthly payment, that's payment period 1, of $4,008. Of that $4,008, $1,250 was used to pay interest, and $2,758 was used to repay principal. So at the beginning of payment period 2, in cell C18, we have to calculate the remaining principal. The remaining principal will be equal to the beginning principal of the previous payment period plus the payment that was made in that previous period to help repay the principal. That's cell E17. When we enter that formula, we see that at the beginning of payment period 2, we have a remaining balance of our loan of $197,242.41. That's the result of having at the beginning of payment period 1 $200,000 outstanding for our loan principal. We repaid $2,758 of that, which gives us a $197,242.41 remaining principal at the beginning of payment period 2. Now let's put in the interest component of payment period 2. We're going to come up to formulas. We'll do recently used. We'll use the IPMT function. We're going to enter for the rate, the monthly rate in cell D5, and we're going to freeze that. We're going to click here in the period number data entry area, and we click on cell B18. That's the indicator for payment period number 2. We want to copy this down eventually, so we do not freeze that address. We come down to the number of periods over the life of the loan. That's in cell F5. We freeze that. The PV, or present value, of the loan was the original loan amount. That's in cell A5, and we freeze that. So we click OK. That gives us, for this monthly payment, in payment number 2, we are going to be paying the bank $1,233 in interest. We can come over here and now use the PPMT function to calculate the principal repayment for payment number 2. So we click in cell E18, formulas, recently used, PPMT. We'll enter pretty much the same data. The rate is going to be the rate per month frozen. The period is payment period number 2, so we click on cell B18. We do not freeze that. The total number of payment periods over the life of the loan is in cell F5. We freeze that. The present value of the loan was the original loan amount. That's in cell A5. We freeze that. We click OK. And for payment number 2, we see that we are repaying $2,775 of the principal. Again, we can do a simple sum formula to add up the interest component and the principal component of the monthly payment. And when we enter that, we see once again it adds up to $4,008. The total payment for each period should be $4,008 because that's the monthly payment we calculated earlier. We can now copy all of these formulas for payment number 2 down through the entire amortization schedule. The easiest way to do that is to click and drag the payment 2 cells, put our cursor in the very right corner until the cursor changes to a black crosshair, and then simply double click. We can deselect. We can see that our total payment, in other words, the monthly payment for each payment period, is consistently $4,008. We see that as the payment periods increase in sequence number, that the interest component starts to fall, whereas the principal component starts to rise. And then as we get to our final payment period of payment period number 60, you see at the beginning of the payment period we have $3,982.70 left in the principal, and that's exactly the amount of money that's being used to repay the principal in payment number 60.